Smash Bros. Was to many the introduction to the world of Metroid and of its protagonist. But the newcomers of the series didn't get a chance to fully appreciate how the stages of Smash took just a few of the many worlds that Samus has visited in the past. The first Metroid battleground was none other than Super Metroid's World of Mystery, Planet Zebes. In this stage, fighters had to duke it out in what could be considered the most vertical-oriented stage in the game. The main hazard of this stage will be the rising lava or acid that will make fighters escape to the higher platforms. But as the fight progressed, every now and then you could see Ridley flying in the background in the style of Super Metroid, as well as some waivers, a common enemy from the 2D Metroid games. It is also worth mentioning that while the stage is called Planet Zebes, it played a remix of Brinstar's theme from the original Metroid soundtrack and not Super Metroid. Smash Bros. Melee instead had two stages for Metroid. This stage features a depiction of Brinstar more in tune with the original Metroid, since Super Metroid had a much greener Brinstar and the song playing in the background is indeed from the original NES classic. This stage kept the same hazard from the last game, with the rising acid. But this time, it introduced some breakable platforms and floors that could perhaps be a nod to how you break certain structures to find secrets in the Metroid games. One thing to note is that there is a Chozo statue in the background that occasionally will move. This could perhaps be a reference to Torizo, the statue that attacks you in Super Metroid. The second stage is Brinstar's Deaths, also known as Crate Slayer, and rightfully plays a new version of the song from the original Metroid. This stage visually does not look a lot like the original counterpart, but it features one unique hazard in the form of Kraid, who retains his giant size from Super Metroid and will occasionally swipe at the stage, causing it to rotate and hit anybody who gets caught by his strikes. Brawl decided to change the lava hazard formula by taking fighters to Norfair, a place in Zebes that actually has lava as opposed to acid. This stage features a more prominent background to how it appears in Zero Mission. This time around, the lava will come from various locations, and at certain times it will form a giant wave that will prompt a door to appear with a double-sided entry and the same opening sound effects from the 2D Metroid games. The other stage left Zebes in favor of the frigate Orpheon from Metroid Prime, the space station that was working on Meta Ridley above the orbit of Talon 4. This stage is based around the room where you fought against the Parasite Queen, who's also featured in this stage, but sadly does not interact with the fighters. Instead, this stage would occasionally flip to reveal another section, which is strange considering nothing like that ever happens on the original game. At this point, stages feature more songs, be it remixes or original ports. And in the case of Norfair, we were treated to a remix of Brinstar's theme, the ending theme from the original Metroid, Norfair's theme from Zero Mission, and the song titled Space Warrior, also known as Samus' theme from Super Metroid, as well as the songs from stages in Melee and other songs that are not from the series. In the case of Orpheon, we got remixes of Ridley's theme, also featuring his fight in the Subspace Emissary, and the Sector 1 theme from Metroid Fusion, as well as the original tracks from the fights against Meta Ridley and Parasite Queen from Metroid Prime, and the Hunter multiplayer theme from Metroid Prime 2. The last song is the full menu theme from Metroid Prime that plays at the credits of the game, and the text at the beginning was unused narration from Samus as she landed in the opening scene of that game. And finally, we have the newest stage in Smash Bros. For Wii U, based on Metroid Other M, the Pyrosphere. This stage is exactly the same to the place where Samus confronted Ridley in that game. You can see the lava flowing into the arena from the hole made by Samus' super missile, as well as the hole on the top where Ridley made his escape after their confrontation. However, in this game, the hazard isn't lava, but you actually have to confront Ridley himself. His attacks are taken from the fight and Other M, such as his claw swipes, tail spikes, fireballs, and eventually trying to tackle the competition. However, after a certain time, Ridley will transform into Omega Ridley, from absorbing the energy of the generators on the sides of the stage, as opposed to roaring into his state like in Other M. This space pirate became probably the most infamous stage hazard in Smash history, considering that he's always ruthlessly attacking the players. But really isn't the only Metroid villain fighting on this stage, as FG2 Gram units, Julians and Zeros also attack the combatants. What's funny from this is the fact that Zeros are only found in Sector 1 Biosphere and Julians on Sector 2 Cryosphere in Metroid Other M, but Gram robots do appear moments before the confrontation against Ridley. Lastly, this stage included some new music renditions of the original Metroid's title theme and escape theme, as well as some original tracks like Ridley's theme and the Lockdown battle theme from Other M. The music from Frigate Orpheon were added to this stage alongside a new original track from Metroid Prime Hunters, Psycho Bits. Norfair also returned to Smash Wii U with its own tracks and the added battle theme against Vorash from Metroid Other M. The stages in Smash play a great role into its all-star formula, as they allow the players to experience a glimpse of the worlds of the other Nintendo's franchise and help them understand the tone of their games. And there's no questioning that Smash Bros. Made sure that the stages of Metroid felt as deadly as the environment that Samus travels into. Think about it, maybe the reasons Metroid stages are filled with hazards that make you not want to choose them in the first place is a perfect way to reflect the dangers of the planets that Samus has to venture into. Every stage is filled with either rising lava to signify the environmental perils, rotating stages that disorient you like if you were lost in the depths of Zebes, and almost all the stages feature a deadly creature eager to destroy you. This is a universe that you definitely don't want to visit.